So y'all know I'm a superhero nut. You know, I like Superman, Spider-Man, and the Hulk, and Marvel, and all that. And you know old Thor, he'd probably look at this and say, what trickery is this? Well, Thor, ain't no trickery going on right here now. This ain't nothing but good turf right here. A little disease control, a good quality food, and of course, a little H2O. Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. This is kind of a follow-up video to my neighbor's yard where we did some things to it. I think you're going to be pretty impressed. A little backstory on the yard. I started the yard this season on an all-liquid diet. Springtime was going good. It's looking nice. Everything was thick and lush and green and growing. And all of a sudden we get crazy dry and hot, and the yard begins to stress out considerably. And just recently we got some good rain, and we got enough moisture in the ground to support growth, so that allowed me to make another video and feed the turf. And while I was feeding it, I went on and applied some fungicide simply because the yard had some disease in it. So with that said, let's just take this as a reminder that water is king. You know, just like Jesus is king of the cosmos, water is king of lawn care. I don't care what kind of fertilizer you put on it. I don't care what kind of biostimulant. I don't care how you mow it, how often, how less you mow it. If water is absent for so long and it's hot and dry, you got to expect some bad things in the yard. That's where my lawn care guides come into play, right? The cool season guide's basically for cool season turf. It applies to all of them. And it's a lawn care program, takes you step by step from, beginning to end all through the year. They're based off my almost 20 years of growing turf. And the way they're laid out is the applications that you make throughout the year, what you apply, how much you apply, when you apply, kind of go hand in hand with the heat and drought and that kind of thing. And those applications help maximize the effort against heat stress, so that when you do get into a heat stress situation, your turf is pumped up and blowed up and got everything it needs to do its absolute best against the dry weather and the heat. And even with all that, when it gets so hot and so dry, you kind of got to expect things to not go your way from time to time. But fortunately, in the case of my neighbors over here, like I said, we got rain. I made the application. Since the application is done, we've had one really good rain on it, and it's had one 4 to 5 hour soaking of water, in which I did that for my neighbor. I hooked up my hose and drug it over there, set one of my big sprinklers out like I did last year a little bit for him, and just saturated the front yard. So kind of the combination of all that, the couple of rains we've had on it, the water I put on it that one day, the nutrients I put down, the disease control I put down, it has really turned this yard around. So let's go over and look at it, and we'll take a close look. Oh yeah, look at there. First thing I want to show you is, remember that one spot? It was right about here where we had that cluster of all the different brown patch going on. It made it look like one big massive yucky circle. You can still see just a little bit of the remnants of it, but here's what happens. Once you apply the fungicide and get the disease checked up, I've got a little food in the ground, a little water in the ground, the turf will want to grow. And what's going to happen is that turf is going to push up that diseased brown yucky turf, and you'll begin to mow that brown off. Day 4 or 5 after the application of fungicide, it looked 10 times as bad as it did the day I applied the fungicide. That is because it's pushing that brown up and you're cutting it off, leaving you with some green turf. I've gotten that several times over the years that we'll apply fungicide and 4 or 5 days later I'll get a call and they'll be like, hey, man, that didn't do nothing. It made it look so much worse. It looks so much worse than it did. Well, what's happened is that brown is pushing up because the turf is beginning to grow again, and it looks worse to your eye because you're seeing more of the brown, but as you mow, the brown begins to disappear. And that's exactly what's happened here, is that brown is almost gone. A couple more mowings and that'll be completely gone. The heat stress that was out here on the bank is pretty much eliminated, and overall just the general color of the yard from the nitrogen and iron, it has darkened up considerably. So now let's give it a good mow, checkerboard it up so it'll look good for the 4th of July. You know, lawn care might seem hard, but honestly, in my opinion, it's just not all that hard to achieve a yard, something like this, or a yard like mine. You simply need to know what to do at the right time of the year and how much to do of it. That's why I push my lawn care guide so much, is it's kind of all laid out right there for you. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty pleased with the results. July 4th is next week, so yard's gonna look pretty good for the 4th. I don't know what they have planned, but it'll look good for the 4th regardless of what they're doing. Say, remember, like, subscribe, and share, and tell all your buddies. As always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch, and I'll check you later.